going so well, and then having a week off? How do you kind of do that to keep this team up when they're playing well?
Well, we kind of did it the same way we did the first bye week. We got some good work against each other, good on good, and but gave them a little bit of rest on the weekend, um, and now we're back into a normal game week. So having the two early bye weeks, with the early game was uh, somewhat. It was when I looked at it, it was good for what we did is we it enabled us to bring our team in a little bit later rather than we didn't have as many practices before the first game. We just kind of picked those practices up during the two bye weeks, and because it's a long season, if we obviously our goals are to be in the playoffs and competing, in November and December, and for that to happen, it's a long year, so you don't want to bring them in too early, and so the two early bye weeks we kind of offset maybe some of the practices we missed on the front end with using the bye weeks. So I think it worked out good for us, and now, like I told our team, we have a long stretch ahead of us, 9 straight weeks, and it's this is where the mental toughness comes in. It's where the being able to make good decisions off the field, get your rest, and being able to fight through those days where you're tired. You got a lot of things going on school wise, whatever. You got to manage your off the field as well as your effort on the field to make sure you're giving yourself the best opportunity to get good work during the week and have good preparation, and everything counts at this point because you got to manage yourself really well, and because you're going to be days that are going to come in and you're not going to feel like practicing. You're going to get tired. You're going to be sore. It gets hard from this point forward. The easy part's behind us.
What have you seen on Robert Morris thus far? We'll start with the defense. Anything stick out? He's got one of the guys that looks a little bit like yours, so that might be beneficial.
Um, I don't. I mean, see, they play a lot of too high, which that's similar to what we do. I wouldn't say that it's real similar to ours. Our defense is pretty unique, um, but there are some similarities. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they're coaching it, and it's there are obviously some things that structurally that are very similar, and um, I don't know if they don't necessarily play coverage the same way we do, and but we've gotten good work. We give our offense one thing about our offense. They see a lot of different looks from us, and so they gotta they see a lot coverage wise, and they don't see a lot of as much 30 front as they used to, but from us, but they get enough a little bit of that also, but they get a lot in playing against us. So I think it prepares them very well. And the same thing with on our end, our offense gives us kind of all the personnel groupings, a lot of different things to have to make adjustments to. So when you get into game preparation, you've seen a lot of that stuff. So which I think is good on both sides.
Well, the last two games, obviously, you weren't happy right after the game with performances. Do you think your message got through, and what do you expect to see Saturday?
I thought we did a lot of things. We played a lot better in this last game. Um, I wasn't happy about some of the calls that we had and that type of thing. And but we're a work in progress. I mean, sometimes I got to learn to enjoy the wins a little more than I do. So I'm the first one to admit that. But I'm I'm always thinking down the road, and I see the things that maybe that it's sometimes I have a hard time enjoying it, and that I'm like I want to see perfection. I want to see us play up to a very very high standard, knowing what's coming down the road. And but we're not there yet in any of the three phases. But I think we're doing a lot of good things. I think we're improving. I'm seeing that improvement in practice. I'm seeing that improvement week to week. But we've got to keep having a sense of urgency to obviously not be satisfied and keep getting better each day.
And you've also, excuse me, you've also, it's about more about your program than the opponent.
Absolutely. I mean, That's what I'm saying. That's what I try to get through to our guys is you have to you can't yeah, you're not gonna I've never seen anybody really go out and play a perfect football game or even practice, or practice perfect. But you gotta strive to every single day you go out there. And I told the players the other night, I think it was Sunday night after practice, I said, you have every single play you go out there, you have to, your concentration's got to be the same as it is on Saturday. You have to have the same approach you have on Saturday. You have to, because the margin for error gets smaller. And, we're going to face some adversity. We're going to face some times where it's, you're running into it. It's a fourth quarter. You got to prepare yourself for those and for those situations, and understand that something that maybe doesn't hurt you early in the year, uh, or in a particular game that could cost you a football game later on, and you have to prepare yourself for that mentally and physically, and keep striving to get better. And you got to take care of yourself first, and you got to make sure that you're executing the game plan, you're communicating well, you're making people beat you uh, rather than beat yourself. And a lot of times, unfortunately, in this sport, it doesn't matter whether it's Sunday or games I watched on Saturday. Most of the time, and this happens in almost any sport, but I think very much so as far as football is concerned, the team that makes the least mistakes usually wins. And it's not saying that that's taken the physical play out of it, but that's mentally and execution and being able to be in the right places and make plays. Usually if you're in the right places, it gives you a lot better chance to make plays. But when you're busting things and you're giving the opponent free plays and giving them points or whatever it may be by your making mistakes, it's hard to overcome that when you're playing good football teams.
It's your first 6 o'clock game. You played the last first 3 in the afternoon. So big difference, not a difference at all.
Yeah, it's a big difference. We're going to have to play. We're going to play both as the season goes on. So, we've played some early games now. We'll be on a night game schedule, and I don't think it's a huge thing one way or the other. It's just a matter of getting your guys used to it. But we're going to play at night a number of times this year, and so it's good to get that preparation now. Might as well do it now, so we're prepared later on in the year.
Why has Nick had some struggles? I mean, I know sometimes the ball comes off the foot funny, or you miss it, or here and there. So what do you think some of his issues are?
Well, he's practiced. Number one, he's hit the ball really well in practice, and I think obviously, when maybe when you walk out there the first time and you drop the ball, I think that can rattle you some. But I just think he needs to relax and go do it. I mean, and trust in his preparation, and I think we'll do some. We're going to do some things around him to help him. I think obviously he's a new punter. We have a new long snapper. Getting comfortable is, and going out there and trusting your preparation and just letting it go and having fun with it. And I think he's put a little too much pressure on himself at times, and it's like any position. Sometimes it takes some adversity. It takes to grow into the spot. And I have a lot of confidence in Nick. I think he's going to be fine. I think they do some nice things. I think they do a good job. I mean, they with the run game, the pass game, they give you a number of different concepts. I think they're well coached. I like what they do. I like their offense. I think their offensive coordinator does a really good job of disguising things and giving you different looks, making you make adjustments, and formationally, and without screwing his team up. They have certain concepts that they're going to run that they believe in, but it's hard to lock into it because I think he does a nice job formationally, and both in the run game and pass game. So I think they're well coached. I think it's a well thought out offense, and I think their program's heading in a really good direction. I think their coaching staff's doing a really nice job. If I had that crystal ball, I'd make a lot of money. I don't know.
It might be easy for a kid who kind of is a 19, 20-year-old kid to overlook them and look on to conference coming up. This team seems like a little bit more mature than some others. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like this team is sharp enough not to?
We will not overlook this football team, and we you got to earn your like same way. You just say you got to go day to day, control what you can control, and I think our guys understand that, and we put a lot of pressure on them, you know, in practice as far as to execute in practice and what our expectations are, and we really don't change much, whether it's you know who we're playing, what time of year, whether it's conference, non-conference. Our approach is pretty consistent, and I like to think that that keeps our players' attitude and their approach consistent. But you got to expect that we're going to get their best shot, and they're a very capable football team. They play hard, like I said. They're well coached. I think their program's on the upswing, and you got to expect that you're going to, you don't know. You got to respect this game and understand that you could get some. You don't know how it's going to go, what's going to happen early. Whether you're going to end up behind the eight ball maybe with a turnover here or ball bouncing the wrong way. You got to be prepared to play your best every single time you go out there and make sure you have respect for your opponent and the game that's coming up.
I don't know how much you've talked about that all, but this team's obviously taken on that grit moniker with the hard hat and sledgehammer. I think the students will have some hard hats on this week. What's your thought on that? And has that added something you think just to have that little element to your team?
Yeah, if you whatever it takes, that's way outside of that. I'm all for it. You're not going to see me anytime soon with swinging a sledgehammer. I got other things to worry about than that. But if it's have fun with it. These kids they work their butts off and go have fun. Go have fun with that. As long as everything is. I think that's a great thing. To have like an identity like that, embrace something like that, have fun with it. As long as it's not taken away from, as long as it's done in the right spirit. Obviously, you're doing it to celebrate your team and not put the other football team down or whatever. And then you keep it in perspective to make sure that it's not being a distraction for you. So, and I think it's worked out well up to this point. And like I said, if they like to do it, and sounds like the student body and the fans like it, and so I think that's a good thing.